The red and black Milano side has many spells of success in history, but the most impressive one was during the 80s when Milan was on the brink of bankruptcy but turned complete 180 by conquering Italy and Europe, going on a total of 58 games unbeaten run whilst winning back-to-back Champions Leagues. This special team was recognized as the Immortals as the best football team ever at that time. Yet after 2011, Milan went into a lost decade of decline and chaos with financial problems, losing top players, finishing in mid-table, and having constant European heartbreaks. However, Milan has turned a corner in recent time with a 19th Scudetto in the 2022 season, and this campaign they beat the rival Inter to lift the Supercoppa Italiana. And now, after a half season played, Milan is sitting near top of the table, around top 4, on the newly hired, well-experienced winner in Allegri. And in the summer, Allegri brought in new defenders in Estupinian, De Winter, Odugo, new midfield engines in Yashari, Ricci, and Rabiot, and well-experienced and elite general in Modric on a free deal. They also added more firepower up front in terms of Nkunku and Jimenez, and they join a superb core in Pulisic, Leao, Magnon, Tomori, and some other exciting talents in fullback Bartesaghi and striker Camarda, who is currently on loan, but that is a wonder kid you can recall later. So now, why should you pick Milan as your next career mode save? Well, it's the ultimate return of the Rossinier arc. Work towards helping Milan lift their 20th Scudetto in front of the fans at San Siro, the cathedral of football. And in the long term, aim to get back the nickname of the Immortals again, like the team of Invincibles during the 80s. They called Florence the cradle of Renaissance, a city built on art, power and beauty. La Viola had their golden age in the 50s and 60s, where Fiorentina captured 2 Scudettos and made history as the first Italian club to win a major European trophy, lifting the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup by dismantling Rangers. They also has won a total of 6 cups that is shining purple throughout history. But the downfall come in the 90s, where Fiorentina was actually relegated. And in the beginning of 20th century, Fiorentina completely collapsed and went into administration and was demoted down to Serie C. And in recent time, Fiorentina has also become a club of almost, reaching 2 back-to-back Conference League finals during the 23 and 24 season, but unfortunately only got a silver medal. And right now, the club has made a complete U-turn in the wrong direction. Everything is falling apart. Fiorentina is currently sitting bottom of the table, barely scrapping points. And it's not like they have signed poor players in the summer, because they actually captured decent players in Lamptey, Gosens. In the midfield, they brought in Fagioli, Som, Fassini, as well as new attackers in Piccoli, Gudmundsson, and famous veteran Dzeko. They join a solid core of De Gea, Keane, Mandragoria, Ranieri, and some other young prospects that you can build around with in Cospo, Fortini, and Endor. So why should you pick Fiorentina as your next career mode save? Well, something is going completely wrong in Florence, struggling both offensively, defensively, and have one of the league's worst defenses, conceding heavily. There's also off-field turmoil with fans getting angry. So your job is to do everything you can to help Fiorentina survive and escape an heartbreak relegation, whilst at the same time stop Fiorentina from becoming the kings of almost in Europe. You have to end the nearly curse and winning the European Conference League once and for all. Beneath the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Nerazzurri were born in the early 19th century, and the closest they have come to the league title was in 1921. And their most successful time was during the 80s, where they got promoted to Serie A and performed quite well in the league for a couple of seasons, whilst most notably shocking the world by lifting the European trophy Mitropa Cup, not once but twice. This was a former competition for Central European teams. But after the 80s depressing times came, Pisa went into bankruptcy twice. Debts had piled too high, money couldn't be found, and Pisa had been cast out of professional football entirely in 2009. However, passionate supporters refused to give up and stepped in to refound the club and had to start all over, all the way down from the bottom leagues. But at least they still had their proud tower leaning over their city and the club from Tuscany. And in May 2025, Pisa shocked the whole country by finishing runners-up in Serie B for direct promotion to Serie A after decades away. They are currently fighting with all they got to scrap relegation survival, and in the summer Pisa showed some ambitions by strengthening the side with veteran Quadrado on a free deal, new defenders in Lusardi, new midfielders in Abisher, Stengs, new attackers in Meister and Sola, and they join a decent core already of goalkeeper Semper, midfielder Tramoni, defender Canestrelli, and striker Moreo, and a few prospects of players they brought in as well in Viral and Bambi, Loran and Akin Semaro. So why should you pick Pisa as your next save? Well, passionate fans did everything they could to save the club and started all over again. And thanks to being backed by new investment, Pisa could climb the ranks again. This is the ultimate 34-year redemption project. Make sure to scrap relegation and build something that lasts after being decades away from Serie A. Make sure Pisa never goes into administration again. Help them becoming an established Serie A side in the long run and making the Leaning Tower of Pisa glow like it has never done before.